What is up, y'all? Welcome to Chosen Price Chats. Today I'm here with Jan, aka Collecting from Scratch. Jan, how are you doing today?
Good, good. We've had our first hot day after a long time, so I'm gonna go barbecue after this actually.
Oh, that sounds amazing. What are you throwing down today?
Some steak and marinated some chicken. I actually should have worked a bit more today, but I ended up just prepping for the barbecue because it's been cold. So
Oh yeah, definitely something to get excited about. I feel you there. I feel you there. So you work from home?
I'm hybrid, so we have
Okay,
to be in office twice a week, but today from home.
nice. And then I guess what are you doing? What are you keeping
Oh yeah.
yourself busy with that 9 to 5?
Yeah, I'm a medical tech advisor, so I work with early stage companies and I help them get to a few million in revenue. But I primarily work on anything to do with like healthcare on the software or hardware side. And I'm Canadian, so they're all Canadian founded companies, but we help them kind of do soft landing in different countries. We work pretty heavily with some institutions in California, but it's cool. Definitely an interesting space with a lot of people trying to help others.
Yeah, that sounds really fascinating. That's crazy. I can even imagine how you go about doing something like that.
Yeah,
So,
it's odd, right? Like, because a lot of people are focused on very specific engineering tasks to help, surgeries or maybe it's a wearable, and there's others that are pure like software platforms that are trying to help with scheduling and AI integrations into monitoring health. So it's so far and wide, and luckily I have a team of people a lot better than me at some of these topics, so I can pull when I need it.
very nice, very nice. So we were talking, I guess, a little briefly beforehand. So you got your PhD? What did?
Yeah, I actually no, I got my master's and I started my PhD.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. The
I
doctor would have been
misunderstood
nice.
that. Yeah,
No, but I couldn't commit to the long process. But
for sure.
I got my master's in biochemistry, so we did a lot of work with like blood sample analytics and human health. It was cool. It taught me a lot. It taught me to not. You have to have pretty thick skin through grad school. I had a pretty tough professor, which I appreciate. He really like did not give me like I coasted through most of university, so I thought I'd be doing the same through grad
Yeah,
school. So I think it didn't quite give me the work skills, but it definitely made me more resilient, which has helped in many other ways, right?
awesome. So, besides work and, collecting Pokemon cards, is there anything else you really enjoy doing outside of work or
Yeah,
that keeps you busy?
yeah, I'm big into tennis, so I play quite often. I used to coach quite a bit, but now I have a little girl, so she's 2 years old, with my wife, and it's every moment I have outside of work, I just kind of love to be home, and she changes so quickly. It's crazy. Like she just went from we were getting the notifications on our iPhones from a year ago, and we're like, whoa, she
Mm.
couldn't walk, and now she's running. it's just it's a blur.
Ooh.
So that's been such a big focus, and it's been really nice to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Oh, you can see
wonderful.
her little Jordans right there. She actually grew out of those, so now they
Oh
belong
my
on my
gosh.
on my counter.
That's awesome. That's so
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
Yeah. We've talked about this a little bit on Instagram, but I see you got your Mac Miller newspaper back there as well. You're a pretty big fan of rap.
oh, a huge fan of rap. I grew up with the generation that listened to Eminem as he was coming, as he was getting into the spotlight, and it was that like rebellion rap music phase when I was younger, and I was listening. Okay, this is gonna date me, but I was listening to him on my cassette player, So
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
we would record with our Walkmans and then replay it. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I talk about this all the time with my wife, but we saw technology happen, right? We went from that to iPods within the same like childhood almost, and it
Oh,
was
for
so
sure.
quick, right? So, a huge fan of rap. J. Cole's my favorite, so I try to catch him every time he's around.
Do you come to Canada often?
He came 5 or 6 years ago, and I saw
Huh.
him then. And then he tours a lot with Drake, but Drake's tickets are like $500, so I don't go.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No. So, do you, I guess, getting into collectibles a little bit, do you collect any rap or like, I guess, paraphernalia, stuff like that, or any other art
Vinyls. Like,
finals?
I'm very picky on which vinyls because I have to like the whole album for me to get a vinyl. So I have Forest Hills Drive, I have
Yes.
KOD, I have Kendrick's Damn album. I was gifted a few Weekend albums. I do like the Weekend. Um, but yeah, just very, very picky. I don't even have a vinyl player, to be honest. I just like how they look. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they're awesome. Just
Yeah.
bigger versions of the album art. They're nice pieces. Nice
Yeah, I'll
pieces of
frame
art.
them eventually once I need more frames. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess getting into Pokemon a little bit, what I guess what drew you back into starting collecting Pokemon cards again?
Oh, it
That
was
is,
random. So
mm,
I played Pokemon Go in 2016 when it came out, and I was actually in my master's in the lab, and my two colleagues were playing as well. So
mm,
basically, like we'd have all of our phones out, it'd be spinning stops in the lab, and then I played.
yeah,
It was the time where you'd run out when you saw something rare, like in the original 151. You'd run out when something rare spawned, and you'd see like a horde of people running towards this like random parking lot because there's a Snorlax there or something, right? So
hmm,
I did that, and then I actually took a little break after that because I was always so attached to the first gen, even as a kid. Like that's when I really played. So after the second and third gen came out, I kind of like lost interest in the game because it felt so new. And then some time passed, and I was in Montreal. We like booked a place just to hang out with my wife and go see a new city. It's a more French speaking area, so we're like, okay, let's just. We were like walking
for sure.
everywhere, so I was like, okay, let's download the game again because we're walking a crap ton. And
Yeah,
then I got super back into it. And I have my best friend. It's so easy to convince him to do stuff with me. So I texted him. I was like, "Hey, I'm back on the game." And he's like, "You
yeah,
download it." So he did. Then he got super addicted to it. And then a few months went by where we were playing. And then he was at my house because we were gonna go out for a raid day or something at a nearby park. And he's like, "Hey, so there's this nostalgia set that just came out for the cards. I pre-ordered a few things." He's like, "Do you want in?" And I was like, I didn't really ask any questions. He's like, "It's first gen," and I was like, "Yeah, so, like, give me one of each. Like, just throw me in." And he did. And then I started looking it up, and then I was like, "Oh, I need to get more." So I had this huge pre-order. I hadn't touched cards in probably like 15 years. So I ordered the 151 set, and then I went and picked up both of our orders. We opened it together. I hit, I hit the chase, so I hit the Charizard SIR through opening my tins. Actually, I love the your setup in the back.
Oh, dude, thank you. Yeah, Rob actually convinced me to set this up. He was like, "You should have a background for your videos, dude.
Yeah,
It'll definitely help."
that's
And
awesome.
yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's wicked. It's so funny because I take my meetings. I'm usually blur it out a bit before my meetings, but I'm gonna set up my Pokemon stuff on this side. So
Yeah, gonna let the people know. Oh yeah, for sure. Obviously, big shout out Rob. I love his content, and yeah, he's super friendly. Always has time to talk. Oh
Sorry, I'm just trying my phone this time. I wonder if it's my laptop.
yeah, sure. That sounds good.
Cool. Awesome. Phone angle. Yeah, what were we chatting about? Like Rob. Rob's awesome.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
think
Rob's
just
given he's brilliant, super nice, like you mentioned, and he just gives so much insight into even the like he knows so much about the finances and like the investment side, but I'm happy he's always like, but still like do what you love, and I think that's really important. And that's how I shifted my whole like how I collect things over the last year as well.
oh yeah, yeah. I think that is super important. I was actually looking at that post you made. I always look through people's posts before do the interview. Think I saw the exact post you were talking about, just making that shift. So that's interesting.
Yeah, when I started, I was like values. I had no idea, right, on values or how much cards are worth or like, and I think that influenced me into wanting certain cards. And like people chase Charizards and they chase like vintage and gold stars, and I did when I started. I was like, oh, this is a good deal I found on eBay. I should get it. It would be valuable to my collection. And then I'd get it, and I'd be like, hey, I don't actually love this as much as I thought I would, so I get rid of it. And now I've been more focused on just like being patient and waiting for the good cards that I really want. And I feel like my collection is starting to reflect that too.
Dude, that's awesome. I actually, I feel like I found myself in a similar situation. And a lot of people I feel like find themselves in a similar situation when you first start collecting because it's a lot for Pokemon. It's a lot. But
It's a lot, and
yeah.
it's nonstop. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I guess recently I've seen that YouTube binder come into fruition. I guess would you say that's part of the shift you've been making?
Yeah, I stopped going from like completely random to like I love the Mewtwo cards. I love like it was such a it's so nostalgic for me from the original 151 and like Mewtwo Strikes Back and the movie. Like that's all I
Yeah.
can think of when I see those cards. So I was just like, they're beautiful, like a lot of them. So I'm chasing two right now, the Gold Star and the Shining. Um, Trying to be patient and wait for like the right one to come across at the right time. But oh, I'm so excited for those, and it's nice to look forward to something too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see the finished product. Got the perfect
Yeah.
binder for it too. They made the perfect Mewtwo binder.
It was actually I was in this Facebook group and this guy posted a couple Mewtwo's and I was like, hey, like I'm collecting those, like I'll purchase them. And he's like, cool. Then he's like, I got this binder. I was like, all right, add it in. Let's take
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'm easily sold, which is a good and bad thing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, not sometimes pretty good in Pokemon, stumble across
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And the group, it's
So,
a Facebook group, and they've been really
yeah.
good at, like, it's really honest. The people are really kind. They'll quickly, like, identify people who are in there to, like, take advantage of others and, like, get rid of them. So I found a really trusted site, group, thanks to Rob, actually. So that's where I get most of my cards now.
Oh, awesome. Nice. You actually mentioned in another one of your posts how it's like important as a collector to kind of learn to sell as well. Do you do like a lot of your selling on that group, or I know you started doing a little eBay selling as well. Where do you
Yeah,
primarily do that?
yeah, I do some on the group,
Hmm.
but I try not to spend too much time selling, just because I'm trying to manage my time better in life.
for sure.
So I prefer eBay because you can just, one good picture, you can leave it up, or you can auction it. So like if I have time and I'm having fun doing it, then I'll make a group post and just try to get rid of a good chunk. But generally, I just like, well, add every Sunday, I cut some time aside to either do a 1 week auction or just load more stuff into the shop. And that keeps me busy actually on that side.
Nice, nice. And have you found like you found through selling your collection's a bit better like managed, I suppose, or do you
Yeah.
enjoy the selling part from what you do of it?
Yeah, I do a lot actually. I like to think that the people that are buying the cards are like me and they're excited for it. So it makes me want to sell even the cards that I'm like, ah, it's just, it's a few bucks. Like, should I waste my time selling this? And I remember chasing a few reverse hollows for my master set, and I was so excited to get these like 75-cent cards, right? And I was like, hey, like if I can do that for somebody too, like I'm happy to. And usually I'll put them up fairly cheap and just trying to debulk a little bit too. I did not expect how many cards you get from opening. It's a ton. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. But yeah, I love that take on selling because I absolutely agree because someone's gonna be excited to get it, and
Yeah.
most of the time they are, and I love that.
Yeah, and like my wife plays some Pokemon games on the Switch, and I usually buy them off like Marketplace or something because it's a bit cheaper. And I was selling a game, and this guy was like, "Oh, like my son, he's really into Pokemon." So I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'll come drop it off." So I dropped it off, and I dropped off a few cards too, because I didn't know if they collected or not. But
Uh-huh.
he texted me after being like, "Oh, he was so excited about this," and maybe I started that kid on this like cool journey of very expensive and cool journey of collecting cards, but it's just, it's part of the fun of the hobby is to give as much as you get, right?
Absolutely. I think like the community is what makes the hobby and stuff like that is kind of what makes the hobby because, that's what's going to get people into it and that's what's going to keep it alive when where we're people like us aren't in it anymore in however many years.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, definitely. And the friend I mentioned before, like I kind of have a good fix on like what he likes now. So if I see it, I'll grab it, right? And
Nice.
he's always so pumped about that stuff. Like, and we're adults, we can buy it ourselves, but it's different when somebody thinks of you for something, right? So I try to do that as much as I
Absolutely.
can.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So, along with like the collecting part of your page, you kind of have like a meme. You got the collecting portion, you got the meme portion as well. Where did the memes come from? What I love it.
Oh,
Like I think
it
that's
was
how I stumbled upon you in the first place. But where'd that come from?
it was actually so I used to play Grand Theft Auto a lot during especially during COVID. Like that was my game. I loved it. I would edit like these crazy videos. It's still I'll send it to you afterwards. But
Nice,
I did
nice.
memes. I did videos. I had a ton of traction, and I loved making the memes because that's my experience on how I played the game. That's my experience on how I interacted with other people. And with the cards, it's just like I think it's so funny because a lot of the memes are things I do, and things I fall for, and decisions I make. So I'm like, I guarantee there's a ton of other people doing the same thing. And that seems to be the case. So it's been nice to, and I've connected with a lot of people, like you mentioned, through that too. So I got to do a few more. But anytime something comes to mind, I'm like, I'm gonna go make this and save it to my photos, and maybe I'll post it someday, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've actually I that's funny you say that because I was gonna ask. We got a few I want to talk about. You got lots of memes about bad polls. So is that, you said you started with the Charizard SAR. Has that not been the case? Do you actually
Oh
get some pretty
man.
bad pulls?
Honestly, that was probably the only good pull I've ever gotten. You know what though? Like, I had to train myself not to do the math while I'm pulling, or like while I'm opening packs, because that kills the whole thing, right?
For sure.
Um, but like it's funny. I wanted the gold cards from Crown Zenith, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna open packs, and I opened a lot, and I did not get anything, and I just sat there and laughed. I'm like, I knew this was bad going in, but I'm gonna go do more, and then you just keep going, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I keep doing it. So I did it with Paldean Fates, Crown Zenith a lot. 151, I have the Master Set now, but I keep opening it. I actually don't have any more sealed. So I cut
Oh.
through all. So I'm not doing that anymore. I've learned my lesson. I'm just buying singles and slabs, and more packs to open, but no more sealed. I don't trust myself.
Oh, nothing sealed that you say like, oh, I'm gonna keep this long term or
Yeah,
something. Yeah,
it's.
yeah.
I'm such a liar, man. It's just.
No.
Yeah, it's brutal. And it's always like my wife goes out to like a class or she goes to do something, and I'm like, oh, I'm bored. What should I do? And it's funny because I told her I was like, all right,
Uh,
you're gonna hide this from me. I'm not gonna open it. And she didn't hide it very well. So I opened everything like 2 weeks ago, and I was like,
oh my
okay,
gosh.
there's I'm at rock bottom now for sealed, so I'm gonna keep it there for a while.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah,
so funny. So
yeah.
your wife is a Pokemon fan, obviously. You said she plays the games, but you haven't got her on the card kick yet?
It's so she liked Arceus like on the Switch. Um,
Hmm.
I'm slowly transitioning her into liking it. Because like she liked Animal Crossing, and I was like, "Hey, this is kind of like Animal Crossing, but you got to catch
Oh,
stuff."
okay.
And she liked it. And then we finished it together,
Hmm.
and then I was like, "Hey, like," so I got her Pokemon Snap now, and she went
Oh,
from not being
nice.
able to name anything to she's getting pretty good at it now. So I'm slowly like, and even my daughter, like I bought her the starter three for Christmas and let her pick, and now she like carries all of them around. So just little by little, I'm like,
Getting it in
influencing
there.
it. I feel like yeah.
What what did she pick first though, if you don't
She
mind
took
me asking?
Squirtle. She took Squirtle.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like
Quality.
anything but Bulbasaur. And but I know there's a ton of Bulbasaur
Bulbasaur.
fans. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But
That's funny. But like back to the memes. There's another one. It was pulling hollows in 2001 versus pulling hollows now. And I'll put these up there. I'll edit them in there. But it's handsome Squidward and then pretty disappointed Squidward. But
yeah.
dude, why do you think it's that way now? Do you think it's like more to do with the rarity of the hollows or like the looks of them, or like?
I think a lot of them still look pretty beautiful, but I think it's
Hmm.
the rarity, right? Like Rob has a meme where he keeps pulling that, Blastoise EX, like,
Oh yeah,
and he's
yeah.
like, "Oh, sweet, I got it," and then you just keep pulling, and you're like, "Oh my God!" Like I remember, like Paldean Fates, I pulled probably like six Rotom hollows, and I was like, "This has to be a record of some sort." Right? But
Right.
because like you're always looking for the full arts. And I think the full arts have killed the hollows. But when I started with 151, I was like, hollow, sweet, because I hadn't opened anything in years, right? And
Yeah.
then you realize you open more and you're like, oh, this is not good. So
Yeah. A little bit of both. That's
yeah.
funny. And then this one's probably one of my favorites. And then it's just the classic Rick from Pawn Stars, and it's modern PSA 9. Best I can do is kiss my ass, cause that's
It's
that's just so true.
it's messed up. Like I don't know what it is because like I feel like the math would say a raw card should at least be less than a PSA 9, right? But in most of the cases, like a modern raw card, like the 9 kills its value.
which is crazy because that's basically assuming that every single is a PSA 10 contender, which it's not. Oh, I don't know. That's
Yeah.
my thought on it. But I, there's a guy in my region that will just buy like CGC 9s or 9.5s, crack them all, and then sell them as singles, right?
That's crazy that that works.
Yeah.
That's
So,
actually
yeah,
insane.
it's just the amount of disappointment that people get when they get something back as a nine on like a modern chase card. They're like, oh, a nine, a 90% out of 100. Damn, right? So,
It's crazy. I don't know if grading, I think grading's just become so prevalent that like it's tender bust with my, I don't know. I don't know, but
yeah,
it hurts. It hurts.
yeah. And it's hard
Yeah.
to offload the nines, right? Like, nobody wants them. That's where the kiss my ass comes in because you might as well just give it away at that point.
No, seriously. I feel like I'm insulting the people who follow me on eBay whenever I post like a nine. Like
Yeah.
seriously, it always goes for under raw value without fail.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Just yeah, I hope that changes, right? Like, I think the grading side is so hyper popular right now, and then you can see there's like the quality of grading is trending downwards. A lot of people talk about like the PSA, even like I always respect when somebody's like, "Hey, should not be a 10." They're like, "Look how
Oh yeah,
beat up this card is." So it's almost like they're trying to pump out just as many processed cards as they can through their system, and you're like, it kind of kills it, right? Because tens are great, but most cards can't be tens. And there's like the pop counts are getting crazy for a lot of these modern cards, right?
for sure. Yeah. I don't know if you saw that story I posted the other day, but Japanese 151 has like a third of the cards of base set graded right now. So after just a year, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's nuts. Yeah, I know. I grabbed it's funny. So part of my journey was switching away from thinking I'm going to grade anything because realistically I'm not. So I had all these singles where I'm like, oh, I'm going to save these. I'm going to grade them one day. And then I was like, I'm not going to do it. Like especially from Canada, it's quite a process because there might
Yeah,
be taxes on it. There might be customs and duties, and people are posting consistently that they're getting hit with extra fees on top of it. And I'm like, to gamble at 9 or 10, I'd rather just have fun with it, right?
for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it more like sending it? Would you do it more, be more apt to do it if you could do it from like the US, or are you still just like, not really interested in gambling for the nine
Yeah.
and 10?
There's a couple certified PSA dealers, like maybe like an hour and a half from me. And if I were to ever do it, I'd go through them.
Oh,
I do have a
nice.
few vintage cards that I'm holding on to, and maybe I'll grade one day. But I just like how the binder looks. I'm actually
Heck
trying to
yeah,
get rid of a lot of my slabs because I want to go for like the chase slabs, but like I like flipping through my binder more than maybe I should just get something for my wall. Who knows?
yeah, absolutely. I'm with it.
Yeah,
I love a good binder.
yeah. What about you? Like, what's your? I know it was Polytoad, right?
Oh yeah, I got my little shelf of polytoads back there, and then I got a binder page full of polytoads, but I'm pretty close at finishing the very small Polytoad set. It's like 12 cards, but
Nice.
I just haven't gone and bought the two cards. I'm honestly waiting to see if I see them on like Instagram to buy them from someone on Instagram or something. But
Yeah,
yeah, I do Polytoad, and I haven't really been going after much else recently. Kind of just been chilling on the collecting at least.
yeah. It's cool. It's I've noticed like it's I'm curious to see how the hobby transitions over the next few years, right? Like, do things go up in value? Do things go down in value? I know there was this huge boom in 2020 and things like skyrocketed, so things have been a little settled now. And a lot of like the big collectors I've talked to through their groups a lot of them are selling for a loss on a lot of their stuff, right? So
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah. I am very interested. I don't know. I keep thinking that like interest is gonna wane, but it doesn't seem to.
Yeah,
So yeah, so
yeah,
I am really interested.
yeah. And the new sets have been like 151. I'm super biased towards it because that's what got me back in, and I love that set. Crown Zenith, I liked. Paldean Fates, I thought I was gonna like it more, but I didn't as much. I think it was just once they added in like 300 plus cards into a set, I was like, it kind of kills opening it, right?
Yeah,
So I just bought
yeah,
the new.
yeah. That was a good call because it does. I mean, that's so many. That's so many cards that those chances are so low.
Yeah, yeah,
And, and then you somehow end up getting like repeats of some of the cards, and it's like, all right.
yeah,
But
yeah. There's like a sweet spot, right? I think there's like the 200 mark feels realistic because you can actually like get most of the set through opening.
mhm,
But it's just so annoying once you're like opening packs and there's no, you can get the same two or three cards within the same booster box multiple times. It's just like they weren't, I don't know, mixed. But yeah,
oh,
we'll
for
see. I
sure.
know, I know Cyber Judge is coming out. I like some of those cards, but I'm probably just gonna buy the singles.
Yeah. So would you rather have sets where it's like now, where you've got to open a few boxes, or like sets like Jungle and Fossil, where you could open a single booster box and get every single common and uncommon, and just have like the
Mm,
rares left and stuff like that?
yeah, for me, I'm less interested in like obviously like card value is a factor for me, but I think for me when I open, like I just want to feel like it was purposeful and I had fun with it. So
Hmm.
I would rather something with a lower count where I'm like, hey, like at least I filled up some of my binder with commons and
Nice.
uncommons, and I can go find people who may have had doubles and trade with them or do these things. But a bunch of my friends opened up Paldean Fates and like nobody got anything and we couldn't even trade with each other. So
Oh,
we're just
wow.
like, yeah, it was bad luck in Canada, I guess. Um,
Oh, geez. Yeah.
yeah. Jungle and Fossil was fun. Like I remember my dad used to take us to like the flea market and we'd go buy packs. We'd sit in the back
Mm.
seat and we'd open them as kids. And man, the guy beside me pulled a Charizard and a Venusaur, and I'd never forget out of like four packs. And I remember the day he traded them away.
Oh,
he
no.
he traded the Charizard for all three Eevee brothers.
The Eevee brothers. Oh, for
Yeah,
like Jolteon, Vaporeon, and Flareon?
yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah. And I got ripped off like crazy when I was a kid too. I remember like I ended up with just energies and commons by the I got
Oh
fleeced.
no.
Yeah. So
Oh man.
yeah, somebody's doing well, but I was not good at trading back then because I just liked having more cards. So I almost took in bulk.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's a
So
fun
like
time.
was Pokemon as a kid for you the games, the cards, a little bit of both or
It was the cards in the show.
oh,
Um,
okay. Nice.
yeah, and like I loved drawing back then. So like I made a post recently about Dragon Ball Z because it was Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z that got me into drawing, right? Like we didn't have cable growing up. My dad was like super like, you gotta focus on school. So every Saturday, like I can go adjust the antenna to get WB-49 in black and
Oh
white.
yeah.
So every Saturday morning I'd watch cartoons while everyone was sleeping and it was like Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. and I was like obsessed with it. So I'd like find pictures of these Pokemon and then redraw them and then try to go get some cards, and like that's what kind of got me into it. I've never actually played a game of Pokemon.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I
That's
should.
did you so you've just played Arceus, like Legends Arceus with your
Oh,
wife then,
sorry, I
and
meant
then
like the card game. I've never played the card
oh,
game.
a card game. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
wait a second. Okay, okay.
No, I had Pokemon Red on the Game Boy Color. That was my first game.
Nice.
Yeah, um, that was awesome. That was so fun.
Dude, yeah. I the Pokemon game, like the card game, super fun also. I think definitely give it a try sometime.
Yeah, I've watched some videos on it. It looks awesome, and I love the
Oh,
community getting together to play. That's cool too.
oh yeah. It's definitely just it's interesting, you get to use Pokemon that I feel like don't make the cut like in the video games and stuff like that, or like
Yeah,
on people's favorites lists. They usually end up being pretty good.
yeah, solid. And it's funny to see how the meta changes. It's a cool thing that they like it changes every year, right? Like the cards that can be used.
Yeah, I think they have the standard rotate. I'm honestly not sure if it's once a year, but yeah, I know it
Yeah,
rotates every once in a while.
yeah. I get like down my YouTube rabbit holes, and it's funny. I used to watch like PokeRev and Mystic, and they just open a ton of packs. I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is fun. And then I got bored of that, and then I started going into. There's this one guy who does challenges for trying to complete a master set at a convention. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that sounds familiar, but
He's
I
pretty
don't know
big.
the
I'm
name.
terrible with names, but
Is
I
it
love what he does.
Deep Pocket Monster?
I think it is. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, okay. That
He's
sounds right.
awesome. And he's so
He's
like
cool.
community first about everything, and people love him. And I was like, this is so fun to watch because he's trading, he's buying, he's opening, he's like purposely ripping himself off to make some kids happy. And I was like, this is like what it should be, right? Like you should be opening it up for whoever wants to get involved. So he's definitely been my favorite to watch on YouTube.
Nice. Yeah. That's funny. I feel like the Pokemon YouTube rabbit hole kind of always starts at like PokeRev because that's kind of where I started, and I was like, all right, I've seen enough packs be
Yeah,
open.
I
Let's
know. It's
let's move
crazy.
on. That's
Yeah,
funny.
it's just like I wonder if they still find it fun, to open packs when it's like infinite the amount of packs you can open at that point. Um, but
Yeah.
hey, like I have a meme about that too. Is the one where they get like a really crappy hit and they're like, "Yeah, amazing," and then like their
Yes.
graphics go up. I'm
Yes.
come on, yeah,
The third place guy cheering. That's one of my
yeah,
favorite
yeah,
memes. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Yep.
That
Oh
was
my
a
gosh.
that was a YouTuber special just because I was like, as I started learning more about the cards, I was like, hey, like that's not exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. A little played up, just a little bit.
Yeah. But it would be super boring to watch if it wasn't, right?
Yeah. For the most part, yeah, definitely. So I got a little something interesting for you, back to the rap thing. Do you have any interest in possibly finishing the lyric? I got a few lyrics selected out. I could I could
Sure.
start them, see if all right, all right. I just thought this would be funny or fun.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. The world is so small till it ain't, till it ain't, till it ain't.
Oof. This is gonna be a tough one.
It's
I'm not good
I
at
feel like it's
lyrics.
hard because I can't sing it like
I
I
think
don't like rap it.
I think you gotta put some emotion into it and then maybe
Uh,
beatbox in the background too.
oh, beatbox and at the same time. I'm not that talented. I'm not that
Yeah.
talented.
All right, who is that? These aren't J. Cole lyrics, are they?
No, no. Mac
No.
Miller, Small Worlds.
Nice.
The world is so small. Till it ain't. It
Yeah,
ain't. It ain't.
yeah.
All right, all right. First thing first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil.
Oh, J. Cole. You know what?
Oh
That
yeah.
that song. It's funny. I watched Fresh Prince a lot, especially like in my adulthood, and man, it's such a good show. And they always like painted Uncle Phil to be the villain, and then they'd have these like a few episodes where you're like, holy shit, like he's such a good guy, and like there's so many references to Uncle Phil and like a lot of different like Joyner Lucas references Uncle Phil a lot, and he ended up being like some type of role model for a lot of people, just with like for that father figure presence. So it was super cool.
Oh yeah. It's a fantastic song.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right. Yeah, yeah. I think let's see. I messed up, homie, you messed up, but
Kendrick.
oh yeah, we gonna be all right.
Yeah. You know, Kendrick's sick. Kendrick's amazing. Um, it took me a bit to get into Kendrick just because like he's very poetic, right? So like some of his songs you're like, oh, this is amazing. I'm gonna go work out to this. And the other songs you listen a few times and you're like, oh, that's really deep. Um, and like it's a story and it has progression and you can tell like there's experience tied to it. So like Kendrick's one of those people that I always give everything a few listens to because it changes as you listen to it more. So Kendrick's amazing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think his I don't know, his storytelling is crazy. Mr. Morales and the Big Steppers was
Yeah,
pretty insane to listen to. Just but yeah, completely agree.
yeah, sweet.
So just I guess one more thing before I guess wrap it up and let you get to barbecuing. Uh what do you think is a piece of advice you'd give to people just starting in collecting?
I'd say, try different things. Whether it's, say, collecting sealed or collecting slabs or opening or collecting singles. And then just really take some time to feel what makes you happy, right? Like take the numbers out of it. I think the numbers can either make something seem really great or it can make something seem really terrible. And for me, it's just like when a new set comes out, like I never look at the top chase cards anymore. I'm just like, I'm going to open it. I'm going to see which ones I like. And a lot of the times they're not the biggest chase cards, right? But they mean something to me. So yeah, just whatever makes you happy is what the point of this is. It's not what's going to make you the most money or what other people might want. It's it's what what makes you want to do it again is what's going to make you happy.
Dude, I love that. I think that's great advice. That's great advice because if it's just about the money, you're gonna get burnt out one way or the other. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, I love that, dude. But yeah, thank you for taking the time to do this. It's been nice to get to know you a bit more, Jan, and you know, I can't wait to keep talking to you on the gram, keep getting to
yeah,
know you.
yeah. This is thanks, Phil. I'm like I love what you're doing. I've watched. I think I'm pretty caught up now, but it's so nice to see like we follow almost all of the same people, so it's nice to get a look into like who people are because it makes the hobby more fun, right? So I appreciate what you're doing too.
Dude, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you again for your time. And I hope you have a great rest of your night. And thank you, everyone, for if you stayed here the whole time and you watched, peace out.
Take on. Thank you.
Yeah.